How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and today I'll bring you some great news, some fantastic news. Finally, Jeff Sessions has acted. He has done what I wanted him to do last year, what Trump wanted him to do last year, what many of us wanted him to do last year, which was to finally fire Andrew McCabe, who was the former deputy FBI director. He stepped down from that role in January of this year, but he was still kind of on the clock. We'll talk about that in a little bit. He was also the former acting director of the FBI after James Comey got fired. Really, when James Comey got fired, he should have been fired too, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we go down that rabbit hole and break everything down, what I want to do right now is show you this clip from CBS News. They tell you a little bit more about what's happening here, why he got fired right now, what was the determining factor that led to him being fired, and also what Andrew McCabe's response was to being fired. Not surprising at all, but after we get done with that, we'll talk about all those things, and I'll wrap it on up and put a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Despite spending much of the day Thursday trying to keep his job, Andrew McCabe was fired after FBI ethics officials recommended his dismissal. His firing also comes before the release of an inspector general's report that is expected to show McCabe shared information with the media about the FBI's investigation into the Clinton Foundation. In a statement, the attorney general said McCabe lacked candor, including under oath, on multiple occasions. All FBI employees know that lacking candor under oath results in dismissal. But McCabe pushed back hard, saying his firing is the administration's attempt to undermine special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. In a statement, McCabe wrote, "I am being singled out and treated this way because of the role I played, the actions I took, and the events I witnessed in the aftermath of the firing of James Comey."
Okay, so you saw that, you heard that, you see what's going on. Now, I don't even know where to begin. Let's just start from the top. Andrew McCabe being fired. Like I said before, I wrote the clip. This was a long time coming. He should have got fired last year alongside James Comey. James Comey is an enigma, to say the least, because on one hand, I like what James Comey did, which was to come out right before the election day, basically, and say how corrupt Hillary Clinton was. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you say how corrupt she is, but you don't do anything to her. You come out on television before that and then say there's not enough evidence to convict her. So I don't really know what's going on. It seems like you're kind of caught between being in the swamp and trying to be out of it. You got one foot in, one foot out. In my humble opinion, I think Trump wants people who are out of the swamp totally. The whole drain the swamp thing is 100% real. People are talking about the high turnover rate in the Trump administration, but the reality is you got to have a high turnover rate when you have accountability in the White House. If you have people in there, they're just there collecting the check, not really doing anything of any consequence, I guess it doesn't matter what they do on the job. They could stay there forever and pretty much do nothing. They will never get fired. But once you actually are expected to work and do things and not be corrupt, then all of a sudden you're going to see a higher turnover rate. I think that's a good thing and it's healthy for our country. But to get back to my man, Andrew McCabe, I don't know how this guy didn't get fired yet. Like I said, Jeff Sessions should have fired him last year. He was really just riding the clock, like Trump said in the tweet. What did he say? He said FBI Director Andrew McCabe is racing the clock to retire with full benefits 90 days ago. Exactly my point. He should have been fired a long time ago. He stepped down as the FBI Deputy Director in January. So I'm like, okay, if you were the deputy director under Comey, you had been for a long time, and then after Comey gets fired, you become the acting director, but then after that, you step down as a deputy director once Christopher Wray gets appointed as the actual director. What are you doing? Why not just resign altogether? Because he knew he had that golden parachute waiting for him in just a couple of months from January, which is when he stepped down as the deputy director. So it was really time. I think it's kind of funny that he got fired right now. I think one of two things happened. I think either Jeff Sessions was under tremendous pressure to go ahead and fire him. It's like, look, time's a wasting. You know, when it gets to this particular day, he's just going to retire, collect full benefits, and be done with the whole situation. So Andrew McCabe's response talking about, oh, he's trying to undermine the FBI. It's an attack on the FBI, this, that, and the third. Well, don't act like you really wanted your job. Let's not play those games. You stepped down from your role in the FBI, sir, and you were going to retire in 26 hours anyway. So it's not like you were going to be there for that much longer. All that they really did was just remove your retirement benefits because of the investigation. It came out and it said that you were doing some kind of underhanded stuff. You were with James Comey, participating in the whole FBI scandal. You were engaging in the corruption of the swamp. So I don't want to give you, a corrupt person, your full retirement benefits. That's not how we're going to play this game. And it really, more than anything else, sends a message. You're not just going to be able to ride the clock in this administration until your retirement or until you get a certain bonus or whatever the case may be. You need to actually work, and you need to be free from corruption. I like what Trump said in this tweet right after McCabe got fired. He says, Andrew McCabe fired, a great day for the hardworking men and women of the FBI, a great day for democracy. Sanctimonious James Comey was his boss and made McCabe look like a choir boy. He knew all about the lies and corruption going on at the highest levels of the FBI. Now, that was a great quote. And in that quote, I like how he said, the hardworking men and women of the FBI. So that tells you right there, it's like, look, this ain't about the FBI specifically. I'm not trying to just put the entire FBI under the bus, okay? Because you got a lot of people that are there. They want to do the right thing. You have good people there, but you have those who are in high levels of power at the FBI, these fat cats who have just basically allowed themselves to be consumed by the swamp. They are the problem. It's the same thing with a place like California. Everybody knows that California is governed poorly. The people at the top of the food chain in California that control it, they are the problem, not the average everyday citizens of the state. The same thing can be said for the CIA, FBI, etc. We all know what was going on with McCabe, Strauss with them texts talking about Trump is a moron. We're going to try to get him out of there as a secret weapon or whatever it is. They were all together colluding to be against the administration. So I find it kind of comical that McCabe would say, oh, Trump is trying to attack the FBI. See, his words, the way what he said in his statement lets you know what he was the entire time. This guy was a total swamp rat, and it was evident to see. SJW, because you don't say that after you get fired if you didn't feel that from the beginning. You may be upset you got fired before your retirement package kicks in, and that's fine. But the reality is you should have already been fired. You should have been fired a year ago, long before the retirement situation was even within your full grasp. Okay. You were lucky to even be on for this long to still be getting paid from the FBI. When you stepped down from your role, you should have resigned at that point. You were trying to ride the clock, but that's not going to happen in this administration. So, like I said, I find it funny that he said that when he himself has obviously been trying to game the system. Okay, so I have no sympathy for anybody trying to game the system or those who are openly corrupt. So what do you think? Do you think Andrew McCabe should have been fired? If so, tell me why. I mean, I think I laid out my case perfectly fine to let you know why he should have been fired. Let's just run down the list right quick. Sum it on up right here. He was complicit in the corruption that was going on at the FBI. His closing statement after he got fired lets you know that he was not with the Trump administration. He thinks that the administration is trying to wage war on the FBI. You don't say something like that after you get fired if you didn't already believe it beforehand. He stepped down from his role as the FBI deputy director after he had been the acting director. Why would you step down if you really want to be there working? Okay. He stepped down because he did not want to have that responsibility before he retired. He just wanted to collect his check and be out. So let's be clear. It's not even about him being fired. It's about him losing his retirement benefits because he was going to retire anyway. And everybody knows it. Trump knew it. Sessions knew it. The whole mainstream media knew it, which is why they're reporting it like this. They're saying, oh, 26 hours before his retirement, he gets fired. Everybody knew that he was going to retire. I don't think he necessarily declared it. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the box. But everybody knew what was going on. But do you think that he should not have been fired? Now, what benefit was he going to give to the people for 26 more hours? You tell me, because we all know that he was going to retire. Why should he not have been fired? And why should Comey have not been fired? Do you think that Comey and Strauss and McCabe and all these other people were just great American citizens? They did no wrong. You know, they weren't part of the swamp. Is there a swamp? Do you think that Trump is doing a good job of draining the swamp? I do. I know people would say that a lot of those who have been fired have been his own appointees, but let's be clear, a lot of these people were already in Washington, D.C. to begin with. It's not like he just got them off the street and put them in a position of power. A lot of them have already been in D.C. Some of them may not have been like Omarosa, Bannon, but Bannon had been around. Omarosa had been around as well in D.C. Let's not forget that. But maybe it just didn't work out. I think when you have accountability in an administration, it lets the whole thing run smoothly, which makes the entire country run smoothly. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.